All right. So I have Darian, one of my clients, here with me, and she's made a really awesome transformation. So, in about 3 months of working together, she overcame her 4 year struggle with, let's see, bloating, loose stools, gas, stomach pains, acid reflux, churning, nausea, low appetite, and just feeling like really crappy after meals, feeling like she just had to go to the couch to lay down because things just weren't digesting quite great. But yeah, in just about 3 months, she pretty much overcame all of these issues, and it's only gotten better since there. So yeah, thank you, Darian, for coming on.
Thank you for doing it for me.
You did the work. I just helped guide you. So first, I just want to hear from you, like, what were you dealing with before we started working together? Like, what was that all like?
I personally thought it was normal for me to have all this, and it was just kind of a part of everyday life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it was there and I kind of got used to it. So I was just like, oh, this is just normal. And then sometimes I'd have like a flare up, what you call it. Like it would just be
Mm-hmm.
bad. And I would just sit on the couch, or I'd had that, like the really big thing for me was acid reflux.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so painful sometimes that I would just like at night, if I had it, I would just be like, I'm just going to go to bed early. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't deal with it. I'm just going to go to bed early and wake up the next morning and like have a fresh day, I guess. Like that's how much
Mm-hmm.
like pain I was in. You know, I was taking pills for these things, like over the counter medication, which
Mm-hmm.
ended up making things probably worse, but it was just it was horrible. And now that
Mm-hmm.
I feel way better, like you can even ask my boyfriend, we live together, and he sees it too. Like I'm not having the acid reflux. That was, I think, my worst thing because it was the most painful in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not having the acid reflux. I'm not like super nauseous, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not laying on the couch like waiting for my stomach to feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still currently working on my stools because it's a hit or a miss,
Mm-hmm.
but it's gotten way better
Mm-hmm.
now than back when I first started all this. So it's a huge like 180. It's actually
Nice.
amazing.
Awesome. I'm so happy about that. Okay, well, you kind of covered it, but is there anything else you would add to like where you're at now?
I would just say it's intriguing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like what I was eating and what most people think are like healthy and good for you, like absolutely is not. And I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea. I'm watching your the videos that you had us watching,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, get out of here. Like I and like I'm putting this in my body every day. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like especially the oils, like the
Mm-hmm.
seed oils and the vegetable oils. I was like, I mean, I mostly cook with olive, but still like we use, vegetable oil and seed oils are in pretty much everything is what I found out.
Yep.
Like pretty so I was like, I was shocked, like all, and I work out pretty consistently
Uh-huh.
and do CrossFit and all this other stuff. So like, I guess you can say diet is kind of like a bigger part of like that whole culture.
Mm-hmm.
So I follow people on Instagram. Like I've done the whole like, oh, let's cut this out, let's cut that out before, you know what I mean? And just the things that I've cut out and like replaced it with, or the things that I see
Mm-hmm.
people saying like, oh, like you should eat X, Y, and Z. I'm like, if you only knew what I know, like you would not be saying that.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing. It really is.
Yeah, definitely. What Darian's talking about too is one part of my program are these it's online course. Basically, it's a bunch of videos that are recorded and you get to learn a lot of info that way, and that's one part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you feel like the three or roughly three things that helped you the most to make this transformation are?
Ooh, that's hard. Well, I think for you being in my life, I think it was the videos and
Mm-hmm.
like having the option to like learn as fast or as slow as you can, and being
Mm-hmm.
able to rewatch stuff because I have done that where I'm just like
Mm-hmm.
like and you put a lot of things in those videos like
Mm-hmm.
your recipes and stuff like that for specific things. So like I
Mhm.
know specifically I went back sometimes and I took like there was like one specific module or video where there was like a boatload of recipes.
Uh-huh.
And I went back and I listened and I followed that sometimes.
Uh-huh.
Uh and then I think on my part, like it's easy for me personally to just be like, oh, it's just, it's just one cookie, let me you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like being consistent has never been my strong point,
Uh-huh.
like when it within those first 3 months of
Mhm.
doing this, and I had either like a purposeful mishap or an
Mhm.
accidental mishap where you would fix it in the food logs,
Mhm.
like I would feel it,
Mhm.
so like I would either have the loose stools the next day or that night,
Mhm.
or I would have the acid reflux, and I'd be like, oh my god, this is horrible, because I haven't had it, in
Mhm.
what, month, 2 months, 3 months, and then all of a sudden I get it back and it feels 10 times worse than when I would have it like daily or weekly, because I'm not used to it anymore. So I
Mhm.
think it helped too, just knowing that if something happened or if I wasn't doing the correct thing, it was gonna like hit me like a truck.
Uh-huh.
So it's just I like the program. It's pretty much, at your own pace. You can either
Mhm.
listen or you don't, you know what I mean? Like, and be more like well off than if you don't listen and you like fall off the like off the wagon or whatever. You have to like restart. Like you're just gonna be, like backed up, I guess, and
Mhm.
it's not like anyone else's problem, but but mine or whatever, because at the end of the day, it's just like I want to feel better, and
Yeah.
I'm feel better unless I, go through the motions and follow all these things. So it was
Mhm.
it was it was kind of fun.
Good, good. Okay, so the modules were really helpful, and then
Hmm.
what the second was just being more consistent, right?
More consistent. I don't
Okay.
know if I could think of a third thing. You said
Okay.
three, right?
Yeah, if you
I don't
can't
know.
think of a third, no worries. I was just wondering if anything else
Yeah,
came to mind.
yeah, I don't know if I can, because I didn't really make it to the weeklies,
Mhm.
because of I have a weird work schedule, so the
Yeah,
weeklies were kind of tough for me to even make. But
no
the food
worries.
law very good too, because
Yeah.
like I said, if it was my fault and I totally knew it was my fault, I'd put it on there anyway. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And of course, like I was expecting you to come back and be like, oh, like this, and then if I didn't see something or if you got something that I didn't,
Mhm.
like my mistakes were the most
Mhm.
recent thing.
Yeah.
I didn't really think of cutting that out. It was such a routine part of my life, that I
Mhm.
was like, this is good. I'm gonna keep this.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, like, you had me read the ingredients, because then you I looked this up and I was like, shit, like to even think about like reading this. I just thought that, it's protein, it's a protein shake, it has to be good.
Uh-huh.
So
That's
it's
definitely
crazy.
one of those foods like you were talking about earlier that people think like, "Oh, that's so healthy." And it's like, "Well, it kind of depends. A lot of them aren't so healthy."
Exactly, exactly. So the food logs were really good too. I really like the food logs because, like I said,
Mhm.
you knew what you did wrong, or
Mhm.
there was like so out of your minds that you really didn't know, but it was brought to your attention. And you were like, oh, like okay, boom, like cut it
Mhm.
out. And each time, like we did a food log, or each time I learned something new with the modules or whatever,
Mhm.
like it was like an aha moment, and I was like, all right, let me like just tweak this. Let me like just change that. So
Uh-huh.
I blogs too, I guess, because that would probably be my number three.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I feel like that's a really common one people say. That's one of my favorite parts of the
Yeah,
program. I feel like it's just so helpful.
food logs, but you really see like it's easy to. I guess it's easier to see. You know what I mean? Like when you're writing
Mhm.
it down, and then like for example, if I if I ate something weird for breakfast, and you came back and it was like, oh, like this is kind of weird. Like this is why it's weird. And I was like, that makes sense because like I had acid reflux like later that day. You know what I mean? I was like,
Mhm.
okay, like there you go. Like it was like a puzzle piece. Like it all kind of made sense after that.
Mhm. Good, good.
Hmm.
Okay, so then my other question for you is, okay, so you work night shifts as a police officer, And that's a lot of work and kind of hard. So, how do you feel like you were still so successful with the program despite, like, having long night shifts to work?
So that's a good question. And I want to like frame that with a lot of people that I work with. And I think it's just like the culture of, the nursing, the EMTs, the police officers, any kind of those professions.
Mm-hmm.
We like kind of eat what's available, at the time, especially in night shift. Like I know like a bunch of my buddies, they pack their system full of energy drinks, like fast food, like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just hard. Like I've never been into that.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been into bringing my own lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and my own snacks. And I know that it's hard because, like, for example, I work every other Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have like a
Okay.
weird rotation,
Mm-hmm.
but like, and I worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So next weekend, I'm off Friday and Saturday, Sunday, and I
Mm-hmm.
work in like a city where it's like really busy, and I never really have time to like sit down, focus on other things rather than it's just call, report.
Mm-hmm.
So by that third day, by that Sunday, I'm usually like sleeping up until the point where I have to leave.
Uh-huh.
So I Sundays were the hardest for me when it comes to like packing the lunch that I should and need to pack in order to like feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
So like I would say the packing of the lunches, because I would kind of just gather everything because I cook a lot. So I would just
Mm-hmm.
gather everything together, like pack like when I'm putting away my leftovers for that night, I usually just pack a little bit for myself the next day when I have to go to work, right? And then I
Mm-hmm.
have the snacks kind of all lined up in the closet. So
Mm-hmm.
I just literally gather everything, throw it in the lunchbox, and leave. It
Mm-hmm.
takes probably 2 to 3 minutes in the morning, or my morning to like leave and pack a lunch.
Uh-huh.
But that's is really difficult. So I know that I was struggling to pack food on that Sunday because like I said, it's the last day. It's like
Mm-hmm.
my Friday, like
Mm-hmm.
I was exhausted. So I would try my best. Like I knew eventually when I got more comfortable with like getting food out at places,
Mm-hmm.
um anybody like we have Wawa. It's like a gas station, but like a good gas station where you can get like food prepared for you and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I know it's like hard for you to really tell what's in there, but
Mm-hmm.
on the Sundays I would just kind of throw things in my lunchbox that were available to me in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would like do like a meat stick, some cheeses, some
Mm-hmm.
whatever is available to me to pack in like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would do the best that I could to
Mm-hmm.
just pick something out at like the Wawa or like at the Publix or like the store or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like on the go.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's like, it's just something that I was willing to like give up like what kind of oils they use, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
to the best option out,
Mm-hmm.
that I could possibly get. So
Yeah, definitely. I think something to note there too is like it doesn't, like, obviously it takes work. You have to want it. You have to put in the work to see the results, but it doesn't have
yeah.
to be something that like takes over your entire
Oh
life.
god.
Like it has to work with your
I would
lifestyle.
Exactly. And I would say it's a lot of learning and like trial and error at first. Like
Mhm.
I was like really guessing. Not really I wouldn't say guessing, but it's tough to really know and be comfortable and confident in what you're doing at
Mhm.
but like as the months kind of went on and as I was comfortable with like the knowledge that I was given,
Mhm.
I able to make quicker like decisions and pack quicker lunches and all that other stuff. So I
Mhm.
wasn't like second guessing or anything like that. So
Mhm.
like I would say as it goes on, obviously like meal prepping is helpful and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
as it goes on, I was comfortable with like making my lunch the same day, which I
Yeah.
still do. We're what, almost a year, I feel like, into this. Oh,
Oh, so
I
you're
don't
in
even know. I don't even know
August.
when I
Oh, it is
started.
getting close. It's May. Yeah.
It's close,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's like August or September or something like that. But it's almost a year in, and now I personally feel comfortable like making that fast lunch
Mhm.
without um the the second guessing and all that other stuff. Like I can
Mhm.
look in the fridge quickly and be like, okay, yeah, this is good. Like boom, boom, boom. I got my lunch. Like I'm late. Let's go.
Yeah.
you know. Like, it's no longer a second guess. Like, I know what to pull. That's the best for me now, you know?
And then now you have that routine. It's quick, it's
Oh,
easy.
absolutely.
You don't have to think about it. You keep feeling better. You keep getting better and better. And also with the eating out too, like you don't have to 100% cut out ever eating out again to heal. Like I think most of my clients eat out a little bit, or it just depends. Maybe like about half and half. Like eat out a
Yeah.
little bit. I eat out on occasion. Like
Yeah.
it's like you said, you're aware, you're not cooking with the seed oils anymore. You're checking the
Mm-hmm.
ingredients, all that. If every once in a while there's a tiny bit in the food you ate out, like it's not
Yep.
gonna kill you. It's not
Yeah. Like,
ideal, but stressing about it all the time isn't either.
and I know, like, personally, I'm not the kind of person that loves to eat out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think I told you when we first started, I feel like eating out makes me feel like shit. And now I know
Yeah.
why, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was never the kind of person I would eat out like maybe like once, twice a month, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like me and my boyfriend, we love to cook. We cook all the time. You know, it's
Mm-hmm.
really not a hassle for us.
Mm-hmm.
But, we do enjoy going out to eat every once in a while, you know? So like when we first started this, I was like, I'm just gonna. It's not easy. It's not hard for me to cut out just like not eating out,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what. Until I got more comfortable, now
Mm-hmm.
I can, go to these restaurants and these places and be like, all right, like, no beans, no whatever, no this, no that. Like maybe they are cooking with the cheapest oil, but that's just like the one thing that I can't control,
Mm-hmm.
rather like I'm not gonna order some like at a Hispanic restaurant. I'm not gonna order because that's something I can control, but the
Yeah.
oil I can't control, and it is what it is.
Yeah. Do you find that you feel better after eating out now?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And I can totally tell because like one of my favorite restaurants, like I would say chain restaurants, is Bahama Breeze. I don't know if you have one of those, and
No.
that's kind of Caribbean kind of style restaurant. So
Uh-huh.
now I know like what to eat. I know like what to ask, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask things if I want. Usually I get the same thing every time, but
Uh-huh.
now I want to try something new. Like I really have to kind of like ask questions and so far all that other stuff. So it's more comfortable for me to actually do that, and I know what I'm looking for now. And
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel that. Of course, obviously, like if I don't overeat, because that's something different.
Yeah.
If I eat the portion that I feel comfortable with and I walk
Mm-hmm.
out, like I'm not gonna feel like heavy and bloated and like I just need to sit
Mm-hmm.
on the couch for the next hour and a half until I can like go again. Now
Mm-hmm.
I eat like early dinners at like 3-4 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, all right, go to the store, like let's do this, like I can go to the gym. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's night and day.
That's wonderful. And then the
Hmm.
last question I have for you is there anything that comes to mind that you'd like to share with anyone that's maybe thinking about joining ancestral gut healing?
Good question, because I was on the fence about it, and I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, like let's just do it, because
Uh-huh.
even if I didn't get anything out of it, which I don't know why I was thinking about that. I was like, what
Mm-hmm.
if I don't get anything out of it? It would still be like, I tried it, like whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I was on the fence, to be quite honest with you, and
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the man's about it, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, should I do this? Like I don't know, like whatever. And he was like, just do it, like just go. I was like, you know what? Yeah, like it couldn't help. Like even if I learned something, like one thing or two things that are like new to me, like it couldn't help. Like people think that they know it all,
Mm-hmm.
and I know some people who like they try this, they try that, they try that, and nothing helps, or it'll maybe help like one thing that's wrong with them or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
then they just fix the rest of the things they have, like the symptoms that they have with like over the counter meds, or like they go to a
Mm-hmm.
doctor, and big pharma is like a part of their life.
Uh-huh.
So I just like if you're I would say if you're on the fence or if anybody's on the fence, like just take that leap of faith, because like it's just so eye opening to me, and it blows my mind that like not a lot of people know this. You know what I mean? Like know
Yeah.
what you taught us, you
Uh-huh.
know? And like I said, like I mean, I'm not a dumb person, and I do my
Mm-hmm.
research with everything I come across,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like this was way new information for me that I thought I like would have I probably would have never came across if it wasn't for doing this program, you know. And it's like the fad diets don't work, the, you know, doesn't work, you know, and like I try and like get people to like listen, you know, and they're just
Uh-huh.
like, oh no, like I'm doing this, like I know what I'm doing, you know. And
Uh-huh.
I'm like, no, like you don't, like just trust me. If not, like I try and get people to like follow your page and be like, just give it a just give her a follow, you know. Like
Uh-huh.
it's the thing. Like if you're on the fence, I would just say just trust it, you know, because it's coming from me who like what is an A-type personality. Like I'm a
Mhm.
police officer, like I think I know it all. You
Uh-huh.
know, and I a crap ton of new information that I would have never knew like been able to know if it wasn't for the program.
Mhm. That's awesome. I'm so glad you found it
Yeah.
so helpful, and I'm just totally
Oh my,
stoked on the transformation you made.
incredible, to be honest with you. Like I said, it blows my mind that this information isn't out there like more, you
Mhm.
know. And it's so funny, I wanted to touch up on this too,
Mhm.
because I CrossFit, and I follow this one CrossFitter. Her name is Lauren,
Mhm.
online on Instagram.
Mhm.
And recently she posted because she used to eat oats all the time
Mhm.
for breakfast and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And she just long thing. I really didn't get all into it, but I read like the first couple lines and I was like, ah, there we go. She posted how this post on how like she stopped eating oats in the morning and that she kind of cut
Mhm.
out oats, and now that she's cut out oats, her training's been better, her body's felt better in the morning, and she's just like her AM session
Mhm.
has been like drastically improved, you know. And I
Mhm.
was like, people are figuring it out. Like,
Uh-huh.
oh, you know, it was
Mhm.
funny. It made me think of you in the program.
Oh, cool. That is
Oh,
funny.
send it.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, I don't want this to get too long. So thank you so much for doing this with me, Darian. Thank you for sharing your story with everybody else. And for any of you watching, if you are interested in learning more about what I offer with ancestral gut healing, I will leave a link down below where you can book a call with me and you can tell me more about what you're going through, ask any questions you have, and I can share more about what I offer in the program, how I can help you heal your gut issues, and yeah, you can decide if you want to join or not. So, yeah, if anyone's interested, I'll put that link down below in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching. And thank you again, Darian, for sharing your story.
Thank you.